Hades 2, Who is Chronos? Hades 2 is a direct sequel to the original game that is said to take place sometime after the events of Zagreus Underworld escapades. Also set in and around Greek myth, Hades 2 centers around Chronos, the Titan of Time, who's known to be a wicked father to Hades and his brothers. Escaped from imprisonment in the Underworld Chronos now wages war on Olympus. While it is a direct follow-up to the first game, Supergiant makes it clear that you don't need to know anything about Hades or Greek mythology to get stuck into the sequel. While you don't need prior knowledge of the mythology of Hades to enjoy the sequel, Supergiant shares some interesting facts about witchcraft and how it's integral to many Greek myths, including some of the most well-known myths and those that inspired Hades and Hades 2. One figure of myth, in particular, is the heart of the sequel's direction. Central to this ancient and oft-feared and misunderstood practice is Hecate, the secretive goddess of witchcraft and the crossroads, Supergiant explains over on its FAQ page for Hades 2. She plays a significant role in classical mythology surrounding Hades and the underworld, and has been an influential and deeply compelling figure in witchcraft, myth, and folklore in a variety of cultures for thousands of years, so much so we felt we needed a whole new game to try and do her justice. In Greek mythology, there are actually two mythological figures that have historically been associated as being the father of time, Chronos and Cronus. Depending on the era of history, these figures are either the same individual or separate entities. In the Antiquity era, Cronus and Chronos appear to have been considered one and the same, with the origins of their names being the Greek word for time, Chronos. Despite his major role in the creation myth of the Olympian pantheon, Cronus is not believed to have been widely worshipped by the Greeks. His presence goes back to the pre-Hellenic period, but given that the Olympians were already said to have triumphed over him, it appears that his role as a figure of worship did not emerge until the time of the Romans. It was then that his broader impact on the Western faiths of today begins to take shape. In the original history of the Greek Olympians, Cronus is the son of the Titans Uranus, Heaven, and Gaia, Earth, and is the youngest of the 12 Titans. He later overthrew his father to become the king of the Titans, where he made his own sister Rhea his consort. As king, he had 6 children with Rhea: Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Demeter, Hestia, and Hera, who all would later attain power as the Olympian gods. Cronus himself was no ideal father. Titans are often characterized by their brutality, and Cronus was no different. As part of a plan to prevent his children from overthrowing him, Cronus ate his children to ensure that betrayal was impossible. Following in the footsteps of Hades, the sequel is also set to release in early access before its full launch. More information on the early access period is expected to come sometime in 2023. Early access will give you the chance to purchase and play a work-in-progress version of Hades and have the option to contribute feedback in the lead-up to launch. Feedback from our player community through the course of development was foundational to the design and vital to the quality of the original game, Supergiant says. So we plan to reprise that type of process with Hades 2. Hades 2 will introduce us to a new playable character in Melano, the immortal princess of the underworld who we got to meet in the debut reveal trailer. As the sister of Zagreus from the original game, Melano is also a character who's plucked from ancient mythology. Said to be based on an ancient underworld deity, she's thought to be related to Hades in what little ancient mythology exists about her. With some mystery surrounding the character, Supergiant Games said it was eager to explore her story and connection to her family, in so doing, expand on our vision of the underworld.